I am really excited about today's topic. This is one of my favorite episodes, and I haven't even gone through it and recorded it, but I've been chatting with Spirit about it for the last couple of weeks. I'm really excited to deliver the content to you because we've just had these wonderful conversations, and I'm going to bring my findings to you here and now. So much thanks for joining me. I've been talking about the 4 upper chakras that extend beyond the physical body, and this week's episode is on the Karmic Chakra. To me, the Karmic Chakra really is ultimately about choices. Stick around for more. Hello, and welcome to the Constance Messmer Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Did I ever tell you my falafel story? This is so Constance, right? I believe in signs. I really do. I think the universe is constantly talking to us through our 11 soul senses. And that's why I want you to be in on the coolness too, because it's just really ways that our soul speaks to us in our environment, in our physical world through our soul senses, but also guides, angels, loved ones that have crossed, cosmic all, source energy, God speaks to us through our 11 soul senses, speaks to you through your 11 soul senses. So I'm always keenly aware of signs, right? Like, oh, what am I supposed to do here? This is like underline underscore in my book of karmic life in this journey. So the falafel story. So I was dating this guy, Marvin, and love him dearly, love him dearly. And so on one of our first dates, was it like our second date? I was just doing my daily Saturday routine, going to the grocery store, and randomly I was in the bread aisle and was compelled to pick up pita bread. Listen, I don't buy pita bread. I'll eat it when I'm out, but I don't buy it. But it was like, no, I need to buy this. And I was like, okay, I'll buy this. So I bought the pita bread, thought nothing more of it. And Marvin was coming over that night to make dinner. He was an incredible chef, fabulous food. Shout out to you, Marvin, if you're tuning in. And when Marvin arrived, he was like, oh man, he was kind of bummed. I was like, what's going on? And he's like, I made these homemade falafels. And the only thing is I totally spaced on buying the pita bread. And I was like, whoa, I have pita bread. Like I just bought it today. And in that instant, I was looking at his eyes, but deep into his soul going, this is meant to be. I'm supposed to marry this guy, right? It was a near miss. We almost got married. We went through a lot together, and then it just wasn't meant to be. But it was interesting because I took that as, 2 missing parts coming together to create wholeness, the falafel sandwich with pita. And the dinner was fantastic, right? I do regret that relationship ending because I loved his cooking, right? I've always been interested in a private chef. I think I've told you that before, but it just wasn't meant to be. But what I really understood as I unraveled the relationship later, because it was at a pivotal point in my life, I had just was closing out my career, my life as a waitress, and stepping into my work and power in Reiki, energy balancing, and all this spirit work that I've, successfully then brought to you. And it was this, which life do you want pivotal moment with Marvin? Am I supposed to stop and make a family together and have this life? Or am I supposed to birth something new? And as it ended up, I was going through the new birthing. It was me, my soul, my awakening, my awareness. With Marvin, I recognized in his soul that I'm like, listen, I know you. Like, I don't think I told him that, right? He was cool. He was a Black Panther back in the day. I was like, this guy's cool, humanitarian like me. And I really felt connected to him, but I also knew it was connected on a soul level, not just the qualities that he carried into this lifetime. He had worked in Africa and service work, but I also knew him from another incarnation. And I And I want to remind you that this whole thing about being with Marvin and then unraveling it and it's not meant to be was this completion of a relationship that I am certain began lifetimes ago. I'm getting chills. Getting chills. Oh my gosh, I'm getting chills. This familiar past life connection was really tied in a place that I want to talk to you about. My falafel story is a great illustrative moment of how the karmic chakra is tied to the sacral chakra. I find this all the time in doing reads on people and teaching my classes, that I might find something happening in the sacral chakra where relationship, sexual issues, creativity, new beginnings lies, but there could be a karmic tie in the karmic chakra, right? Promises. Next lifetime I see you. We're going to be together. It's not working out now, but let's do it again. And I did it again in this lifetime. When the relationship ended and I made promises, I was like, listen, this is not the lifetime, but you're a star. So next lifetime, maybe it'll work. I do this way too much with old boyfriends. They don't even know this, right? I've had a string of boyfriends where I'm like, oh God, he's so cool, but this isn't the lifetime. Maybe next one. So why do we do these things to ourselves? But these are promises we make on a soul level that can be picked up and held in these areas of our energy field and our soul patterning. And so in the unraveling of my relationship with Marvin, it was a greater depth of awareness and understanding how the karmic chakra, right about probably on me, it's like here above the top of my head. For me, it's about 8 inches above the top of my head, right? How the karmic chakra can be so linked to the sacral chakra in relationships and soul contracts that we carry. So this is about the person that you just can't get out of your mind, but you can't be together with, or someone you're just like, magnetically attracted to, and there's just this something on this other level. Usually I recognize boyfriends on this deeper level, or even partnerships, friends, relationships on this deeper soulful level. Makes no freaking sense before I even know them on a personal level and who they are in this lifetime. You recognize this. And I'm sure some of you listening have gone through the same thing where you're like, oh my God, I can't get this connection out of my mind. There must be more to it. And I'm inviting you to explore this kind of arena of your karmic chakra combined with your sacral chakra. Maybe there is more. Maybe there's this other situation, other connection from long ago that was supposed to come into your life at a pivotal moment, right? Oh, chills. These pivotal moments are opportunity for us to realize what's been highlighted in our soul's expression throughout countless lifetimes. And maybe someone has come into your life to kind of spin it on edge. Not that you're meant to be with them. I'm chilled. Marvin and I never got married. I'm sure we were married in other incarnations or together in various forms. I went on to marry someone else. He went on to other relationships, but it was a deep, soulful connection to me. And we went through a lot, almost started a family, almost started a life together, all of these things. Look at me getting personal with you. And I don't regret any of that because it flipped to this new doorway of like, what am I birthing here? If I'm not birthing a family or starting a life with Marvin, there's something else going on. And it was my whole life in this spiritual journey, right? Today I'm wearing this great bracelet with a bunch of gemstones on it with various stones in various colors with clear quartz crystal. And the reason for me for this, when I work with my karma or karmic lessons, is because I love all the different stones. They're very, for me, kind of highlighting the different lifetimes and the different beings that we are in those lifetimes, or the different relationships that help to create and make us as we choose. Because remember, I told you in the beginning, this karmic chakra to me is really ultimately about choices. And I love that this bracelet has a clear quartz crystal in the middle, because clear quartz helps to clear all the energy and all the chakras, but in particular, these 4 upper chakras that I'm diving into. I don't remember where I got this, but I do freaking love it. It's just definitely rad. I don't know. I don't even say that word, but there it is all the same. So I want to invite you to look at these relationships that are in your life, friend, lover, spouse, mate, kid, right? Person that you work with, that there's just some kind of tie. And take a moment this week maybe to go in and go, all right, what's this? Is there a greater lesson here? Is there a greater connection here? What is the tie? Sometimes karma is about ties also. Like maybe you wronged them in another life and you owe them in this life. There's been a lot of that in my life, like, oh golly, I probably owe them, right? And I don't even have to dive into the story. But sometimes it's like, no, they're meant to help me. I don't take help easily. Listen, I don't. I just don't. But now I'm like, Con, you've put out a lot into the world. Take the help, take the help, take the help. So, and sometimes it's just this, because people can give, you give, right? And so the same is true with karma. It's this balancing scale in many ways. That's as deep as I'm going to get into karma in regards to righting injustice or balance of scales. I'm not going to go any further on that. Maybe in a future lesson I will. But I just want to remind you in these moments that if you notice that there's a relationship and that maybe you do have karma with them, is I would actually put one hand on your sacral chakra, right, just beneath your navel, and then maybe one with the awareness to your karmic chakra, and go, is there a past life here? Is there a past life connection? Is there a tie? When I teach classes in person, I teach students how to explore past life relationships and have a look through the window of the soul. So that'd be fun if you join me in the future and can be a part of that. I'd love to share my knowledge with you. But for now, you can do it with intention. You could just say, okay, there's seriously another tie here. What's this about? Is there a lesson? Do I owe them? Do they owe me? Do I need to be okay with what's happening? Or maybe this is done. Do I need to break the tie? Do I need to let go of the promise to be together? With Marvin, I know I had promised him in a lifetime before that when we meet again, let's do this again. Well, we were different people in this incarnation. So the vow that I had made in that prior incarnation and the promise that I had made, let's say it's a promise, it was more of a promise than a vow, didn't hold for me in this lifetime. And so it was about choice. Like, does this work for me? No, it doesn't. Okay, what do you want to do? You want to not do this relationship in this form. Love him at a distance, be friends with him, but doesn't mean you need to be mates, right? And so I think sometimes people struggle with this spirit saying, in regards to soulmates, are you my soulmate? Are we meant to be together? Not necessarily. Maybe it's just a message or a lesson or an understanding or a helping you become more of who you're meant to be, whether in a helpful way or an upsetting way, taking back your power or whatever, all of these pieces, right? I know that there have been countless relationships in my lifetime where I noticed there were these like digs and these patterns of like betrayal or, kind of putting me down. And I'm like, wow, this is a real lesson now, whether or not I've known this person in other incarnations. And usually I had, but this is a real pattern now of giving over my power. And now it's about, kind of stopping this pattern, right? And recognizing that it is a pattern. Like, where do I show up in my life in ways where I hand over my power and therefore not show up for myself, but I'm helping them in a way kind of by, diminishing my power or diminishing my light for their sake. So I want you to reflect on that as you kind of contemplate the karmic chakra. There's a whole chapter section in my book on the karmic chakra in my book Soul Yoga that I find helpful. There's pages in the Soul Yoga companion journal to help you document your journey through the 12 chakras. And I just think that the karmic chakra is rich with information and, where patterns are trying to expose themselves in your life so that you can be free of them and to be a better person, better for you, which means better for the world, really, truly. So I think you'll find interesting insight, not only in soul yoga, but in yourself when you contemplate what's going on at the karmic chakra in regards to relationship. My book, Soul Yoga, Using Your 12 Chakras as a Map to Reaching Your Highest Potential, is all about coming into union with your true self. Because you see, your chakras aren't just energy centers. They're where your experiences live, your wisdom, your soul's memory. In this book, I walk you through the 12 chakras so you can remember who you are. This could be your most important journey yet. To get your copy, visit my shop at constancemessmer.com. A personal announcement. I didn't even do my hair today. I just like threw it up. I was like, this is messy hair day. And it was like, oh, how perfect is that? The karmic chakra is very messy because life is messy. This is what can happen, right? It's so funny. So I'll let you in on a secret, but maybe I've already told you the secret. So maybe it's no longer secret. The chills. The karmic chakra is also tied to your solar plexus. Solar plexus, just above the navel, between the navel and the heart center, is the solar plexus, personal power, self-esteem, who you are, what you came to do. Another sacred site in your blueprint, in your energy blueprint. There's a few of them, but these are two key ones. Sacral in regards to relationships, solar plexus in regards to what have you come to do. And so I just pointed, if you're watching on YouTube, I would just pointed, and I'm reminded of people saying, don't point because 3 fingers point back to you, but I've got to point at you. What did you say and claim you'd promised to do in this lifetime? What vow did you make? I vow next time I'll blah, 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 or whatever. So when thinking of the karmic chakra, when working with your karmic chakra and the solar plexus, you begin to understand and see this deeper relationship to past life skills that you brought forward in this life and how you've got this chills, God, the goosebumps, this like incredible calling. Maybe you're called to be a light worker. Maybe you're called to take your practice to the next level, or maybe you're called to really bring more spiritual awakening into whatever work it is you do. And these are soul contracted things that you promised in this incarnation. So maybe you came in with an abundance of skill sets and you're like, well, which one should I do? I can relate. Which one should I do? And it's about really sitting with yourself to go, okay, what did I promise to do in this incarnation? Maybe it's a combination of all of the above. And how can I do that? Right. And so this is for you to determine and kind of unravel. So I think for me, the greatest thing in those moments of discerning the truth of it is to recognize this beautiful stimulus response or call and response that we have kind of curated with the universe. And when we are asking like for signs or messages, like, I'm believing my work is this. Can you give me a sign to show me that it's right? And then the signs appear, whether, you see them in print or you can't stop hearing the name or the idea outside of yourself and it just keeps showing up, these kind of things. And just this calling, right? And paying attention to your dreams and noticing what's kind of coming up for you. I think that it's really important in moments like these. I'm asking spirit, can you tell? I'm asking spirit at the same time, do you want me to talk more about the solar plexus connection to the karmic chakra? Oh, okay. Yeah, they do. So it's this, not only it's the karma of skill sets that you brought into this incarnation that you want to work with in your personal power, self-esteem, who you are, what you came to do. But there's also this dynamic. I wasn't going to talk about this. This feels like it's rattling. Is it rattling? Shake, shake, shake. My bracelet feels like it's rattling. There's this dynamic that comes together when you consider those 3 chakras, powerhouse, solar plexus, sacral chakra, and karmic chakra. Oh, there you go. If you've been called to do something, it's important that the relationships in your life help support that. I remember when I first started writing, even Some Dogs Talk, I would write all hours of the day and night. My book about animal communication, the protagonist is a boy, Tony. And I would write all hours of the day and night. I would bring my laptop to my kids' practices, sports practices, and I'd be cracking up on the bleachers because there's funny moments in that book. And I remember one of my kids, she will not be named. It was my daughter. She got jealous of my time working because prior to that, I was really doing stay-at-home mom stuff and raising the kids and running them to things and volunteering in all these systems while doing my spirit work on a on a psychic level, on a spirit level, helping spirit more than helping physical people, right? I was consulting businesses and people, but her needs were not as compromised as when I started writing. And she used to get really mad when I would be writing that she would make these cutting remarks. And I was like, listen, this is not nice. This is not fair. And then now she's like one of my biggest fans. So she's really supportive and everything. But I realized in that moment that it was because she was jealous. And I was like realizing as a mother or as a parent, right, as we do, like, oh, okay, they're feeling neglected. How do I fill that while also maintaining boundaries and limits to say, yeah, but I have this job. And even though you can't, it's not go leave the house, punch in 9 to 5 because I can work at home, doesn't mean it's any less important. So these moments where she's my greatest teacher. Kids like usually are, right? Sometimes if you have them or people that, and she definitely in those moments would rub me the wrong way. But it was a great opportunity to claim my space and not give over my power. So I know that I've traveled countless lifetimes with each of my 3 kids, but yes, definitely her. And so this was a really cool thing about embracing the moment and what's happening in the moment. This feels like a tangent, but Spirit's reminding me, no, it's really about noticing relationships and your work and the karma tied to all 3, right? So this was a comfortable, uncomfortable lesson with my daughter at a young age, feeling jealous about my writing time and creating space for both of us. It allowed me to spend more time with her and really engage time with her when I was with her, but then also having quality time with my work period, especially during the day when the kids were at school. But if you're a writer or even working in the realm of spirit, you know how it can be very, or creative, if you're any kind of creative art, creative idea person, brainstorming solutions to business problems and stuff like that, or household situations, you can get into that space of the upper consciousness where you're kind of sorting through things. So I remember even now, my husband will come home and he'll want to have this discussion. And I'm like, no, I'm talking to spirit. I'm really working. And he can appreciate that and understand that. And so I could not do this work if it wasn't for the energetic, emotional, and spiritual and physical support of my family, of my entire family. Shout out to my family in Iowa. Shout out to my family everywhere. Because, it's a lot of, like, I support and encourage them in their work and their life and their unfolding. They do the same with me. So here's the deal. Chills. I feel for you that are listening to this as an audio podcast. You don't understand these sounds I'm making. It's because I've got these like spirit wrapping me in light and goosebumps. Here's what I suggest. We go through these pivotal moments in our life, whether it's empty nesting, whether it's, the 7-year itch every 7 years because more of the higher consciousness is coming in, or opportunity for higher consciousness to come in happens every 7 years. It's the Saturn returns. It's the what are the lessons? And I love that these are astrologically and energetically and soulfully put in place at times for us to say stop. And I invite you at those moments or even on birthdays to take a life audit. I'm going to just say that again. I invite you throughout your life to take a life audit. This is what your karmic chakra asks of you. It does. This is a deep encounter with your gifts and your relationships. So solar plexus, gifts, and your relationships. Are you doing what you are called to do, what you've come to do? Are you with the people that you want to be with? We all know relationship can be bumpy, and the road to what we know we've come to do can be full of time gaps or quick or long. Definitely will be work in some way, whether you're working to read the signs to skip ahead or you're having to put in the the writing of a book that you're meant to do that has to get out, right? Doesn't magically happen. You have to put in the effort. So moments in your life where what's my deepest joy? What does my soul What did I promise myself to do in this incarnation? That's the balance that I want you to look at the most. Not, does that person owe me? I wronged them. Just be good. Be good. Be a good person. Be kind. Doesn't mean don't speak your truth. Speak your truth, but maybe speak it with compassion and kindness so it could be heard. But also, tough love is okay, right? But you know what I'm saying. What I'm saying is take a life audit, a deep encounter with your gifts and your relationships, especially at pivotal moments. Empty nesting, 7-year expanses, birthdays, now, and say what's working, what's not working. What do I need to do? Remember awareness, breath, care. Awareness that something's not right or something's weird or something's good or something's happening. Breath, pause. What is happening? What's happening? So I can take advantage of this moment. So I can take advantage of this encounter, advantage of this awareness, this psychic hit coming at me, and care. What do I want to do with this information? With my daughter, I could easily have gotten angry at her, when she was showing kind of moments of jealousy over my writing. I had to come to what was balance for me, spending quality more time with her because she was feeling tricky things at a pivotal moment in her life, but also creating and claiming sacred space for myself and my work and my journey, and speaking with compassion for the connection. So in these moments, recognizing what you need to do, maybe it is quitting a job, maybe it is starting a class, maybe it is shifting careers. I've told you about my dad. He had various careers through his lifetime. Same with my mother. Same with my mother. And that showed me and gave me permission. Always reinvent yourself. So I'm inviting you to reinvent yourself. The Karmic Chakra is about the state of consciousness of your choices. Notice when things are going your way and when things aren't going your way. Notice repeated patterns in relationship or work areas. I told you mine. I was noticing that I was not living up to my full potential because I was not standing up for myself in moments. I would take other people's opinions over my knowing. What? Yeah, confession, true confession. Wow, right? And that only really cleared late last 2025. Like, boom. Yeah. Yeah. And I want to remind you that when it comes to the karmic chakra, when you're seeing and noticing these repetitive patterns that don't serve you, if you're watching on YouTube, I've got my hands on the table in front of me because I'm like trying to ground. This is so funny. When you're noticing these repeated patterns that don't serve you, characteristics, qualities about yourself or relationships or whatever, I want you to stop and I want you to notice that the threshold between repetition and freedom is choice. The threshold between repetition and freedom is choice. Your choice. Recognize and decide what are you going to do about it. And if you say, I can't do anything about it, then pray for help and follow the breadcrumbs. That's why I've taught you the 11 soul senses. It's the way spirit and your soul speaks to you for guidance in and out of tricky situations and into a deeper, respectful, beautiful place for your soul and self to blossom and flourish. Yeah. I'm doing what I always do. I ask spirit if there's more. I don't think so. Is there? Yeah, there is more. I want you to realize you hold the power. These power centers in your soul, right? And your physical body, but it's your soul. because it's not just the 7 in the physical body, but it's the 5 that extend beyond: the earth beneath you, the earth chakra beneath you, and the 4 above. Higher self, karmic, cosmic, divine. The ones outside of the body too. So these power centers, I want you to learn from this series that we've been working with. My desire is that you would learn that when you're coming across situations in life, these 12 power centers, your 12 chakras, are themed with opportunity to look at those various themes or areas in your life that are stirring, that are calling out to you for maybe unexpected findings. Don't deny yourself. Don't limit your potential. I'm going to gift you with faith and gift you with courage to do the deep dive within, to take a life audit. When I work with people's karmic chakra, I think I've told you this before, maybe I wrote it in Soul Yoga, that I often find layers of lifetimes throughout, right? Whichever, I'm getting chills. So, because I was asking, should I really tell this? Spirit's like, yes. So I get the goosebumps when they're like, yes, yes, yes. So I find in people's energy center the imbalance. And so I might go on the theme chakra that it has to do with, like throat chakra, speaking your truth, trust issues, communication. If that's where the insult to their being has occurred, I will definitely go there, but I always bounce it to the karmic chakra, because is it a past life? Is it are they afraid of their future potential? Where is it in this time-space continuum of the karma, right? I go into the past and the future potential when I'm working on people. So can you. That's why I'm teaching this. So, if you work with, as a body worker or an energy healer or whatever, a light worker in whatever form, and you're noticing these patterns in the energy field, and you're looking at the themes of what might be upset energy wherever, brow chakra, intuition and intellect, someone feeling blocked psychically, can't see their signs, can't connect to upper chakras like they want to, divine consciousness like they want to, struggling, also look to the karmic chakra. It will reveal countless layers of choices. So if you haven't already, grab my Soul Yoga, the book and the companion journal. I'm telling you, they're just rich with information. It's a resource book. It's a resource book, really a great resource book. And thank you if you have picked it up. I so appreciate you. It helps get the work out there. It helps get my name out there so I can take my work to the next level. And so thank you. Thank you to my members who give every month to help me with the content. Thank you for subscribing. And if you know anyone that could use this episode, be sure to share it. Thanks. Thanks for tuning in.